Hello everybody, this is Mr. Hornsby 83 with another edition of Mr. Hornsby 83 Topics, and I can tell by the opening theme song I'm going to be talking about RoboCop. I know I was ranting kind of corny, but yeah, oh well. But I want to start with the RoboCop movies, and I'm going to start with 1 and 2. Part 1 follows a cop who's transferred from one department in Detroit to, I guess, the bad department in Detroit, like from north to east or something like that. His name is Alex Murphy. He's married, he has a kid, and he gets assigned to his partner, Ann Lois, who they go after this, I guess you could say he was a big-time gangster. Can't remember his name. But he was played by Red Foreman. And if you know who if you've seen that 70s show, you know who Red Foreman was. But, and yeah, the first RoboCop movie was really good, really well done. But what happened was, Lois ran into one of the thugs of the guy, and she gets knocked out. And then Alex confronts two by himself, and then the rest of them show up and they shoot him up, and then OCP, which is the corporation that's running the town basically, they build him into RoboCop. One of the head execs, Bob, or I don't know his last name. It's been a couple weeks since I've seen RoboCop, but Bob creates RoboCop because OCP was trying to, find a way to replace the cops that were on strike because they cut the payment and all that, or the pension or something of the cops. And pretty much he was going to be the guy that replaced all the cops. But, he ends up becoming one of the, cops there, as you see in 2 and 3. But, yeah, the RoboCop movies are really good. And part 2 starts out with a bunch of people doing crazy stuff for this crazy drug called Nuke. For a crazy drug called Nuke, and it's created by this guy named Kane, who also played Jack the Ripper in Last Action Hero, which I know a lot of people didn't like that movie. They probably said it was probably one of Arnold's worst. You get my thoughts on that some other time on that movie. But he was the main villain. RoboCop goes after him in the middle of the movie. They strip him like a car. And then he gets put back together by OCP after a little bit of hesitation by him. And then he goes after Kane with all the other cops because the cops are still on strike. But he goes after Kane with a couple other cops. They come off strike because of RoboCop becoming, I guess, their unofficial leader. And they take down Kane, nearly kill him. And then this new lady at OCP was trying to work her way up. And, she was doing anything to get to the top in OCP. And I mean anything. But, and then they were trying to create a RoboCop 2, which was failed experiments, and then she tries to put Kane's brain in it, and then Kane goes crazy over Nuke, and shoots up the OCP press conference. RoboCop eventually stops him, and it ends with him telling Ann Lois, that, we're all human. But, RoboCop 2 was, a pretty, little bit lighthearted. The first one was more dark, gloomy, and all that. The second one was a little more lighthearted, kind of funny. I mean, like, the part after OCP reprogrammed RoboCop was pretty funny, because, like, he's doing all this, stuff that's not normal for RoboCop, like, just giving pep talks instead of just taking down the bad guys or shooting the bad guys. And there's one point where he's reading the Miranda rights to a dead corpse, which is pretty funny. But then after he fries himself, gets his brain right, like I said, goes up the king and all that. And 1 and 2 were really good. I'll even go as far as saying they were great. And I'll probably give you my rating on them Saturday, which, if things go well and if I get permission like I did with the midnight launch of GTA 5, I will probably do a review from the theater where I'm going to see RoboCop, the remake. So, yeah. I don't know when it'll get up on YouTube, but whenever it does, it'll be on there. But, RoboCop 3 now. RoboCop 3 was more focused on how corrupt OCP was. Which, I was, telling my wife the other day, I'm like, you know what, this would have made a great anime, because a lot of animes, what's the main villains of animes? Big corporations. And OCP was a big corporation, and they had some very conniving, evil people in that company. And, it starts out with these rebels that are like trying to fight because OCP's trying to tear down old Detroit or something like that. And the head rebellion leader was CCH Pounder, who, if people seen The Shield, they know who she is. And if people recently, she's been on Sons of Anarchy, the other shit. Well, it might be Haven. No, it's not Haven. Warehouse 13. That's the one she was on. She also did the voice of the Waller on the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. And, I think she's a pretty decent actor. One of my favorite female actors. And, the movie wasn't bad, but it wasn't great like 1 and 2. Heck, Peter Weller didn't even play RoboCop in 3. He was, not in it. They had some guy named John Burke playing him. And, so, yeah, RoboCop 3 was, I said you'll get my rating on that too Saturday after I've done the main one, which will be the remake movie. But, and now I want to get to the 4-part miniseries, The Prime Directive, which starts out RoboCop being 10 years old, OCP's, completely running Detroit now, and then there's the main villain for the first part was a villain named Bone Machine, who was kind of a vigilante, you find out is a former cop that was at the precinct that Alex Murphy was at before that. But the main focus was around RoboCop's friend John Cable. And at the end he has to kill John Cable because his son programs him to kill John Cable because John Cable's ex-wife is one of the head people on OCP, and she's telling RoboCop's son that John could be a threat to OCP's plans and all that, and could cause damage to him, and so he programs RoboCop. RoboCop was hesitant to kill him, and he kept saying, well, you know what, you're killing yourself, you need to kill me so that way you won't be killing yourself. And we basically find out the motive on why in part 2 of that miniseries, which was what I'm going to get into right now, which was John Cable gets to become Robo-Cable, and he's got the suit, and it's a black suit, and it's kind of like the suit that's looks a lot like the suit that's going to be in this new movie here. But OCP tries to frame RoboCop, try and say he went rogue and all that stuff, and make him look bad. And you know, at the end, him and John Cable talk. He plays a recording, like sends a link to him, plays a record to it, and all that. And RoboCop, and then RoboCable end up joining forces to take down the OCP guys that were sent, the OCP mercenaries that were sent in to kill RoboCop. And Anne, who becomes the main character, like in 2 and in 3 and 4, it looks like. I didn't get to see all of part 4 because you know there was some other things I had to do. But yeah, part 3 picks up where part 2 left off, and RoboCop and RoboCable are like trying to help Anne and all them, and then they get mugged by the OCP mercenaries, and they separate it, and RoboCable gets captured by some crazy guy that used to work for OCP, who also turned out to be, you know, in a relationship with Anne, and they had a daughter together and all that. And, you know, pretty much, and then at the beginning, I did see the beginning of the 4th part of the miniseries where RoboCop finally shows his son.